Welcome to another episode, another panel, mind, body, spirit panel, incredible experts the world over with diverse backgrounds. Today, no exception. We have three stellar women coming to us from Canada and the United States, incredible backgrounds, super intuitive, super pedigrees, two healers, one investigative author, filmmaker, and more. They're actually all intuitive, and they're all here to talk the cosmos, angels, humanity, mankind, consciousness, and those eternal questions we've only wondered about for most of our lives. I'd like to welcome BRIT Elders. I'd like to welcome Lisa Richmond from Canada. I'd like to welcome Dr. KRISTIAN Strang. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you for having us and putting this amazing squad together, Spirit Squad.
Well, this is your panel, and I'm excited to help it along. I am going to just give some quick background for the three of you. Lisa Richmond in Canada, if you don't mind putting your hand up. You are just fantabulous, super talented, intuitive. You're a spirit-guided healer. You've been doing this since childhood. I've had a chance to interact with you, and I am just still have my socks blown off months later. People can find you at avalonspirit.com. Dr. KRISTIAN Strang, you've got at least 11 books out. You're a best-selling author, metaphysical psychologist. Your website should be sacred-spirituality.org. You and I also have had the chance to interact. And again, you're super happy, super open, and I am very thankful to have you here today. BRIT Elders, almost no explanation needed. You've got quite the reputation, CEO of ShirleyMacLaine.com, the Hollywood Oscar-nominated actress, but also you've been an investigative journalist, author the world over for not just topics on UFOs in Mexico, Switzerland, but for many other things. You've even ghostwritten books. You've got two more books coming out later in 2024. You just had this book come out, which is a sort of a reprise of the prior two books put together into one. I think it was 40 years later, the anniversary of Switzerland. But you are just, all of you are so sweet and so great for being here. I'd just like to say thank you again. Where can we start? Who wants to take a shot at how big this is? Mankind is on a learning curve. Awareness is on the horizon for us. I don't think most of us understand that this is about continued learning and growth, not about knowing anything. Who wants to take a shot at taking us forward into this big topic? KRISTIAN.
Okay. I am so excited about this time in consciousness. Based on my connection with Source and the angelic realm, this is one of the most important times we've ever come for. In fact, my spiritual team calls it the big show, and it's the big show that we specifically wanted to be a part of. I was shown there was like a casting call, so to speak, in the realms before we incarnated, and we were like, oh, we want to be a part of this. We want to be here for this transformation that's happening in the collective consciousness and for the earth herself. My understanding is the earth is her own spiritual being, and she is evolving in an incredible way at this time, and we are a part of that. And all the light workers, you know, that have been doing this. Lisa, you've been doing this since you were a child. Britt, you've been doing this for, you know, we've all been doing this for so many years. We've been coming together, we've been building this momentum, and here we are at this incredible time in consciousness. So I'm thrilled that, you know, the fact we're even having this panel was not even something that was like we would even be doing a decade ago, just in terms of consciousness being ready to hear what we have to say. And so it's a really exciting time. So that's my 2 cents there.
That's beautiful.
Yeah,
Lisa?
Is. No, I agree. I'm just so taken back by the energy that is, and the frequency that is taken, like, yay, technology, because we're all over the place, yet we're sharing in each other's energetic vibrations, and that's so beautiful. And so I feel this like influx of this love energy amongst us, and I'm so grateful for that. And I think that that just goes to show exactly what we're talking about, really, is being able to like consciously connect into the things that resonates into the frequency that we continue to rise up into, and we acknowledge, and being able to connect with other beautiful beings in order to help continue that vibration and hold that frequency is part of this, right? It's not just experiencing it and learning it, but the fact that we meet with other people to help us holds that frequency, that's the key, right? And this is a really beautiful example of that. So I'm very grateful to be here.
Yay. And for Britt, can I read you a quote from an angel named Fiona talking about mankind and the concept that, man usually rolls up its sleeves over time and is all about action, doing stuff. Everything needs to be fixed, controlled, regulated, and so on. This angel said, things don't need to be fixed, in quotes. It's not up to humans. Let go. So how is where we're kind of headed with this whole panel about, not about the neck and up, but about love and above and about more, less doing, more allowing, more awareness coming in, consciousness, peace, kindness, compassion, less rat race up here.
I have a saying I live by. Don't think with your head. You've got to think with your heart. You've got to come from what's in, not from what's out. And to me, when you let the mind get involved, you minimize the ability you have to reach out in all the vastness there is and pull it to yourself so you can learn. So I love that. Just get out of your own way, go to your heart, go to your spirit. That's where everything connects on a universal level. It's not the brain. The brain's a wonderful tool for when you need to be analytical and do numbers and things like that. But the rest of the time, work from here. And what I'm feeling in this room is so far beyond the four of us. It's huge. It's an energy that as we're speaking, there's more and more energies coming in to the point it's almost overwhelming.
I agree.
It's just sort of like,
Lisa's getting overwhelmed.
I'm like,
okay, take a breath.
Everybody shut up.
Take numbers as you come in, please, so we can keep.
Oh, no kidding.
It's just so strong and powerful. And it's almost, I've got to say this, Michael, I think you were brilliant bringing three feminine energies together that are very strongly feminine, but are also balanced.
Yeah.
There's a harmony here. There's not a, so often today we're divisive in everything we do. And this just feels so unified and so comforting for all levels, above as well as here.
If I didn't have to talk, I would sign the contract now. And if I could just flow to people, that'd be great. Secondly, I've just found, it's odd, but I've found it to be like a 70-30 split, female to male. Maybe it's not even that way. I might be off by 20 percentage points. But the next question for folks, it's just, I'm not trying to judge here. I think anybody could be open, and I have been a female in past lives. I know this, so I don't want to go any further on that topic. But I do have another quote for everybody that I think is fantastic for sort of an opening into mankind's expansion. The consciousness shift that some would say already happened like a decade ago, but now it's just allowing and it's bubbling up more, the awareness. Archangel Uriel said, if more people would listen, less conflict would arise in any given situation. And I'm just getting at that concept of listening applies to everything: science, your personal affairs, your business, relationships. What's this all about, the listening thing? Lisa or Christian, if I can get one of you to volunteer to start.
Christian, you can go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I love that. And I love, Britt, I even wrote it down, thinking with your heart. And that really comes into this listening piece. So one of the things I've been guided to do over the course of the decade plus I've been doing this work is really anchoring into the heart and taking our power back from the sacred heart. So that we see the sacred heart in a lot of religious contexts, but it actually is this incredible portal that exists in our heart center that we can access through our physical technology. And I really find that that's when you talk about listening, that's exactly what I feel, this dropping down into this sacred heart. Yes, exactly. Dropping into this sacred heart, this technology that is in our body, and letting that guide us forward. So to Archangel Uriel's quote, if a conflict arises or disagreement arises, if we can drop into that sacred heart and feel what is it that we're being guided to say in this moment? What are we being, sometimes it's just give the person a hug if they'll allow it, right? Like, what are we being guided to do in that moment to help bring more harmony and peace in? if we were all listening more, we'd be talking less and we'd be feeling what was happening. And I really believe that our bodies are the most advanced technology on earth, next to the earth herself. So if we could just tune in, right, to that technology and let that guide us forward, we're having a totally different relationship with our health, with our day-to-day life, with our relationships. It changes everything.
I agree. Oh my gosh, when you were talking about the listening thing, I was like, I think one of the key concepts of this is actually being able to listen to ourselves.
Yes.
Like, because we, like, think about it. I'm speaking from my experience and a lot of people with whom I work with in the healing world, is that we were kind of born into a program or a paradigm where we were taught from day one, like earliest conscious memories, on how to listen outside of ourselves, how to not listen to this and look outside for the answers, right down to like when we're supposed to eat, what we're supposed to eat, how we're supposed to react, who we're supposed to accept and not accept, outside of all the tools in which we are naturally given in the first place. And so once people get so far out of that to actually, when you say, okay, now go inside and embody and listen, truly listen, there's that voice that's still in there, that light that's still deep in there. But sometimes it takes people a really long time to go back in and readjust so that they can actually hear. Sometimes for the first time since they were really little, because they don't know what it sounds like. They don't know what that actually feels like. But I can assure you that we were all, there's not just some humans that come in with the ability to have that intuitive knowing. We all are. It's just a matter of what it feels like to listen and hear what your body is telling you it needs, truly.
Brit.
I think a lot of that is, well, first of all, everything is so true there with hearing, but the listening aspect and learning about yourself is so key, because if you can take that and hear what's actually happening within you and move that forward, then you have a greater capacity to listen to others. And when you hear others, really hear them, not just the words, but everything coming from them, through them, then you can begin to really communicate. And right now, unfortunately, I don't think we're communicating. I think we are steeped in fear. I think we have put up all of these little boundaries, and we're protecting ourselves to the point that we no longer know who we are or who anyone around us is. And
Yeah.
this is
It cuts
this
off
is
our
just so
ability.
huge to hearing, listening,
Yeah.
and part of feeling. Yeah.
Yeah, because then it, like I was saying, it cuts off our ability to really grow our compassion as well.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And compassion for self,
that's right.
which many of us have lost. It's
That's right.
unfortunately, I run into more and more people that they take this thing where they have to be servants to others without considering self. They want to do good for the world, which we all should want to do, but at the expense of self.
That's
And
right.
there has to be a harmony there. There
Yeah.
has to be a balance. And I think that we're moving in that direction, but maybe a little too slowly.
Angels once said there's no right or wrong, there's proper understanding. That doesn't mean
Right.
it's time to go run out and rob a bank, but combine that with the lack of the words compassion, unconditional love, kindness, gentleness. Maybe you're seeing a little uptick in the last week or so, but otherwise it's usually, most media reports are bereft of that, social media posts, or I'm just not looking in the right spot. So it could be me. It's also wherever you want to put your focus and however you want to spend your
That's
So
right.
let's do it. Let's flip the pancake. And Mary once said, love is everywhere. Open your eyes to see love. That's all of our opportunities here. Back to the biggest picture. Let's jump to the end of the panel. So those coming in who are still unsure what we're even talking about, and those who are veteran intuitive types or anything else, we can all go kumbaya and get on board in a particular direction. I want to address how big the galaxy is. Is it possible there's something that might exist that breathes or is in non-corporeal, energy-based life form or light form. And so are humans alone in the universe, Britt?
No. Just no.
And the hysterical laugh that came from Lisa.
Serious.
You're
Feel
next,
that.
Lisa.
No, we are not alone. There are so many unseen realities out there, unseen realms that exist that we need to become aware of. And that's extraterrestrial, it's angelic, it's interdimensional. All of these different things feed us. They really give us energy, they give us information. They're out there. We need to be receptive and open to them. Discerning at the same time, because everybody grows at a different pace and they need to bring in what's important for them. But again, that goes back to listening and to opening yourself to what's out there and what's coming in. So yeah, the universe is massive. I don't believe there is an end to it. Our science looks at point A and point B, but if you look at the universe with your heart, it goes on forever and ever.
Lisa,
Awesome.
you've been doing this since you were a kid. Is
Yeah.
the universe really big?
Well, it's infinite. Yeah, it's infinite, right?
Infinite, yes.
Yeah. And we know this. Like, I mean, at a level, at some capacity, we all know this. It's just what is being reflected back to us in order for us to experience that at the moment. And I think we'll all grow in different ways and capacities to understand that. And what is being reflected back to us is what we're placing our focus upon, right? And that will continue to grow and learn that that is the case. Like, I think that we're going to continue to see, humanity is going to continue to see that what you go looking for, you'll find, kind of thing, and consciously and subconsciously, and that's just something we weren't taught. We weren't taught that our subconscious is providing us our current reality, most of it. And so once we can really start realizing that, and then going in and really listening to self and being open to your ability to connect with your highest consciousness, and have that capacity, that open-hearted space to be able to receive that, I think that's when the magic starts to happen. Myself. Yeah.
I really want to highlight what Britt said there about the discernment piece, because yes, this is an infinite universe and it's multidimensional, and there are all kinds of dimensional beings available for us to connect in with at all levels of consciousness. So something I learned on my journey is that it's really important for me to be discerning and to qualify, just like I would a friend or a romantic partner coming in, to really qualify that that frequency is a match and that the information that they give to me is actually going to be beneficial for my life. Because there's certainly dimensional beings that just want to have fun with humans and can take you on all kinds of scenic routes in your journey. So I always qualify anything that comes in. And one of the ways I do that is I confirm that the being that is communicating with me is of the highest light.
Yeah.
And it's really amazing to me because I had a yogi, a former yogi here on earth, that was coming to me, and I said, listen, great to see you, but I only communicate with the highest light energies. And poof, he was gone. So it's really, that discernment was huge for me. When I first started on this journey, I just thought, well, if non-physical is talking to me, I have to listen. But again, if so that took me on all kinds of, no, it was a very rough road. So it was really important for me to learn that discernment. And so as within is without, I also needed to learn how to set better boundaries in my physical human relationships. So it applies same. However, we're going to, we don't want to be codependent or enmeshed, and we want to have good, solid, healthy boundaries without, to your point, Britt, without like blocking off our good.
Yeah.
And so you can just easily qualify this with the highest light. And if what you're going to bring me is of the highest benefit to my path.
Yeah.
Beautiful. There's something else too. And that's when you hit a space and you invite that energy in and that communication begins. Months later, years later, days later, your energy may be lifted to a point where you're ready to bring in new energies.
Yes.
So don't just stop with one.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people do.
Yeah.
allow it to come in and allow it to just sort of regenerate what's going on within you. And
Yeah.
then if you move forward, allow that to happen.
Yeah.
It's
Love
like
that.
M&Ms and potato chips. You can't just stop with one.
Yeah.
To mention a practical thing, because Christian brought this up. Back when I was living in New York City doing the Wall Street public relations stuff, I had bought a house in Austin, but I didn't know how to fill a house. I had moved 25, 42 places East Coast, but I didn't know what it meant to live in a house again. I'd been doing apartments and stuff, but to hang stuff on the walls, to own your space, to actually believe that your space, you're number one inside your space. I had to do a Family Feud survey says of 17-year-olds up to 70-year-olds to be like, wait, you know, I'm in my 40s. I've never heard of this before. Are you supposed to stick your elbow out and you come first in your space? And everyone unanimously is like, what planet are you from? Yes, duh. So I had to start sticking stuff on the walls, cooking, and I'll shorten this. Plants, indoors and outdoors, music, which I love music, so that was easy. But I mean, I jumped on it because you gotta do your living, and that means bright colors, whatever is your thing. But you define your thing, your style, and it might change a week later. But I'm going to mention that because I think it's as important as boundaries is own what you got, use what you got. You're going to be surprised. With that, I'm going to blow some sage to everybody. We did this before the show. We've done it before. All of you are guests on the APL show. You're all invited back if you're not already signed up for a second episode, but please check the schedule. You can find out when their respective shows are airing. It's later in 2024. Here comes the lighting. If you're hyper intuitive, some people might start tasting it as I'm lighting it. Let the sage come through two screens. It doesn't matter if you're in New Zealand and it's 2026 or 2035. Allow. And I only have one rule in my whole big basket of stuff, and that's set your intent. And I can barely remember what that is. Oh, ask the universe, angels to get you out of your head into your heart and make it nice. Thank you. Amen. Rock and roll. Om Sai Ram if you're from India. But catch a little bit of sage. And if you want to go crazy, catch flowers on top of it. And if you want to go cray, ocean on top of that. Why not? And can I just see hands for who's getting sage?
Mhm.
And then also, if anybody's getting a flower or ocean smell as well. Yeah, okay. You guys are
Well,
awesome.
the flowers have been here the whole time.
I didn't do it. We're blaming angels. That's the new name of the panel until otherwise we said
Blaming angels.
not blame Canada. Sorry, Lisa, but it's blame. Okay, now we're going to get back on track, and that is, okay, the universe is big. Guess what? Mankind's getting an assist, whether we knew it or not. I don't care if it was the Renaissance. I can name an angel who was in a famous movie. Let me do this carefully. Peaceful Warrior, that Socrates gas station attendant, might have done more than just popping in contemporarily speaking, but maybe during, what did I say, the Renaissance days, popping in, not to interfere with human affairs, but there are certain moments we've signed up for where we can be influenced in a positive way. Think 1960s Star Trek, but the angels would be Spock and Captain Kirk and Sulu, not us. We're down on the planet, you know, and there's a prime directive. Generally, you got free will. You should do exactly what you're doing. Okay, what's that all about? Britt, Christian, Lisa, can I see a hearty hand up for who wants to take a stab at this first?
Oh. Yeah. I think we're harmonizing the two, the spirit and the physical. And I think that's what's going on in areas we're not even cognizant of. We get so wrapped up in media things and all of that. But what's happening to people on individual levels is they are finding this great harmony. And so when you have that input coming from everywhere, not just out there and not through the universe, but the angelic input we're getting, all of the different energies coming in, we're finding ways without even realizing it to open ourselves to it and to participate with it. And I think the participation is huge. It's so important for the growth of all individuals on the planet, as well as the planet itself, because yes, Mother Earth is definitely her own individual being, but that individual being, our heartbeats have to be balanced. They have to have that unified energy between for mankind, humankind, to survive with Earth. And right now we're a little off kilter, but I think we're moving back into a realm where we're more connected to Mother as well as to Father, the universe. And so we're bringing that all together for ourselves. So yeah, I just, it's a wonderful time to be alive because all of this is just so magical, really, truly magical.
And Lisa or Christian, is love truly the fabric of the universe? And then can you keep going with the direction this was headed?
I think love is such a construct. It's, I mean, I think there's obviously people who have had the ability to really feel the where the word kind of love came from in the first place, which is that kind of just the universal connectedness of all things, that God consciousness within all of us. And I think that some of us have had that experience to be able to actually experience the concept of what that feels like here on earth. And that's a driving force for sure. And I think that the word love that we've given then, you know, it holds a certain frequency for different people. But yes, to say that I think we've come here with the connectiveness of all in that love. That's like the fabric of what is us, what is made of us, and the connection amongst humans and all of creation. That is the unseen connectedness of all. It's just about how tuned into it we are, really. Yeah.
Christian.
One of the ways I love to, when I'm working with people and even in my own journey, if I'm in a state that is not amazing and I need to quickly be able to shift, I imagine what it feels like to be loved by source, which I felt on many occasions in those meditations and those experiences in nature. And when I'm working with clients, I'll ask them, even if they don't have a construct around the divine or angels or, beings from other realms, I ask them to just imagine what it feels like when they felt so much love in their body, and that will get them connected to. And often it's so much love for a pet or for a specific area where there's not a lot of attachment or story. There's just that pure love. And if you can just connect into that pure love for that animal, for that place that you used to go to as a kid growing up that you just love, that connects you to source, that connects you to the divine, that connects you to the higher realms. So I do believe that love is the ultimate fabric of the universe. And as Lisa was saying, there's so many different stories about what that is here on earth that we need some of those simple tools to connect us right away to source.
Yeah.
Do we need a different definition? Sorry to jump in and abscond this, Michael. Do we need a definition that's a little different than love? Because it has so many, you can lay anything at the feet of love. And it's unfortunate because having those has prevented us, I think, from really feeling the creational love.
Yeah.
And to me, that's sort of sad because it's there. It's in every single thing that exists. It's why I have plants in my office and everywhere through the house. There's a plant. My pets run around. I mean, it's like a free-for-all here. I have all my critters outside and my critters inside. And no, it's something that is creational beyond just, you can call it a God force, you can call it whatever you need to, but it exists in all things. And I think our terminology has bastardized it, really, where we've lost that knowing of what that connection is.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think something that I've observed myself and just in my clients and people that I've worked with from all over the world. So my clients are all over the world. It's interesting because yes, if we connected to a word that we've defined and we've give meaning to that, then it really densifies the experience, obviously, as soon as we do that. But it's interesting because I think as we wake up globally, people are experiencing that concept in different ways. And all of a sudden I'll have somebody book in and they'll be like, so this happened to me, like a different kind of spiritual experience where all of a sudden people are able to experience this sensation in different facets. okay, in order to allow them to have that creation or that knowing where they can start identifying what that is versus being up here, right? Thinking it through, defining the word love in what was given to us. This is what love is. Oh, okay. You know what I mean? Without actually being able to really experience it. And I think that's the part of really the earth consciousness growing and our evolution as humans to be able to experience something so unified and beautifully like the vibration is just something that's outside of a definition. And so all of a sudden people are having, and I'm saying this, I'm like, frequency, we talked about sound frequency, all of a sudden this is starting to allow us to raise our own frequency in order to do healing and connect animals, plants, like we're the sun, like all of, yes. So all of these things are starting to really amp up more and more people's ability to feel and experience it versus define it, right?
Perfect. Yeah, because the feeling, I think, is what's so valuable. And we always try to wrap something around it so we can describe it. Well, maybe we just need to be it rather than try to define it.
Yeah.
Feel what you feel. Do not judge. With that, we're going to go sideways for a second. With everyone's permission, I'll put 3 photos of 3 angels up. It's Joy, the emotion Joy. She's very cosmic everywhere. A Charlotte who gives her background as Orion about 6 weeks ago. I've been doing this 13 years and I've learned to roll with stuff. Thank God that didn't happen 10 or 12 years ago. And then my guardian angel, who's a silhouette from Sirius. I'll put these 3 up. I'll show some energy on my fingers. You guys get what you're going to get from them one way or the other, maybe topics. But with your permission, I'll show my energy next. And then we'll have you 3 put your hands up, or maybe all 4 of us, and see if you can see the light coming through 2 screens. This is going to be a lot for the audience, but I don't think it will. It's just consciousness. Did everybody hear something from either Joy, Charlotte, and or Min?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and a yawn is good. It's a release. Not calling out any one particular panelist in Canada. She's feeling it.
She's just like, oh my gosh.
I didn't do it. Okay, so I'm going to show my energy for 2 seconds and tell one dad joke because humor's good. Why do all the fish in the ocean sing so poorly? Because it's really hard to tune a fish. And just see a little film and a light. If everybody could yell out a color. Britt, what do you see? Pink?
Gold.
Gold, sorry about that. Okay, good.
Gold.
And now we're done with that. With everyone's highest intent, only your love and above side, not the bill paying side. And you're all there. I'm going to do this to clear my slate. What am I trying to say? A level playing field, my heart. Put our hands up and just connect one way. And I'll put Joy and Charlotte up. I'll put all 3 up, actually. Hold on. Let me get it like a bridge hand here. Or poker. I'll put all 3 up if I did this right. And let them also come in. Sorry, Lisa. Feel what you can feel. But if everyone wants to breathe a little extra through the mouth, then see if you see a little flow of light either in your room, your place, sparkles in the air. If you want to hear music instead, universal love music, I don't know what to call it. Consciousness, awareness, but at a broad level. And if anyone needs modulating, let's make up a word because this is a lot. Ask for modulation from Joy just to be able to handle it. And then I need one of you to start talking about what you're feeling because we just talked about feeling. Who wants to go first? Britt?
No, I'm losing my voice.
Oh, I didn't do it. Lisa. Lisa just put her hand up.
Christian, what are you feeling?
Yeah. My third eye was just like going off. Yeah, I saw a golden infinity symbol, and then they keep wanting me to talk about the reality show, that we are in a reality show and we are like
that came up with me too. I was sitting here thinking, I'm like, we should really talk about how this is like a simulation. Like, I'm like, no, maybe this isn't the direction that we're really going down. That's really funny that my guys are talking about that too. All you guys are
Yes, I kept hearing we need to talk about how we're in a reality show, and then like the other realms are watching our reality shows, and like just like we watch reality shows, like it's the micro. My big joke is that like this whole Earth experience is like a Matryoshka doll, so it's the micro of the macro happening everywhere.
Yeah. It really is.
It is. It's a trip.
It is a trip.
And we still have to pay the bills, and we still have to take our steps, be responsible for how we spend our energy. Part of the reason we're all here is to have those experiences and to discern between thinking and love and compassion and the rest. Can one of you address that, how Earth School is so much fun?
It's funny that you say that, because this has come up so much lately about like, okay, we still have to pay the bills, we have to do this. And yes, I agree with that, but it's an interesting concept because we talk about getting out of our head and into our body, and we can actually start listening to where we're being directed. That is far more powerful than the perception of we need to keep our head on straight to pay the bills. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
One doesn't necessarily like, I think taking like my personal experience, that was one of my big human lessons in this life, was that discernment between that very masculine driven, like I'm talking about masculine energy driven, that old paradigm of having to like look ahead, be the worker, provide, that the perception of success and achievement, perception of success and achievement. And that is the validating factor of your humanhood kind of thing, where it's like so be feeling that and feeling how out of alignment that actually is, it allows me then to be able to, when I'm in an energy that is so aligned with who I am and what I'm to bring to the world and receive back in this beautiful, ever flowing energy, actually brings more opportunity for me to live.
That's
Right?
right.
Then I can be driven to the place of alignment. I can be taken to the land that aligns with me and that I can work with. And I have the people that, and all of a sudden there's this like communal give and receive. And what you're provided for is so abundant in so many different forms. And I know this sounds very picturesque and very like, but it's true.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
you can actually allow yourself to receive it on that capacity without that restriction of no, I should and should and should and should, right? And receiving it on this level of attunement to your energy. It's just the greatest gift that you'll ever give yourself. It's like full permission to be in that receptivity. And then all of a sudden the give and receive is of equal value. And then it just becomes easier.
Someone's
Does
going
that
to
make
speak in just
sense?
1 second, but I'm going to do a 1 second interruption because Archangel Michael once said, set your intention and repeat as a mantra. I like that. So who is going to talk next? Is it Britt or Christian?
No, go ahead. You started.
I just wanted to say to Lisa's point, because you're so on point, that we are in this new paradigm. And so we're moving away from the transactional way of living into the receptive way of living, which is what Lisa's describing. And we could also call that the Aquarian age. We could call that the golden age. We could, call it all different kinds of things, use whatever word. Yeah, it shows that frequency. So I shifted my whole like way of doing my business and my healing work to a giving consciousness, so that we are giving to each other, giving and receiving. There's no longer these transactions, these debits and credits. Again, that exemplifies, even Michael, to your point, when we started, we're moving from that masculine head brain consciousness to that feminine heart consciousness. And this is not gender specific, this is energy specific.
Right.
So that's the shift that we are in. So yeah, like paying the bills is not, that's really the old paradigm. It's about living our mission and then allowing ourselves to receive, like Lisa said, and then we're receiving in all of these amazing ways that are communal. Lisa also just nailing that, like we are moving out of this individual, it's all me, self-sufficiency model into community model. So how we're working, how we're living, how we're doing relationship, all of that is changing now. We're in this huge time of transition, and it's so exciting.
And I'll just one more thing with that is the more that you allow yourself to be in that knowing, in that like energy force of giving and receiving, the more that it shows up. That
That's
is
right.
the law, right? And the
Right.
more that you believe in that and you work from that heart
Yeah.
space, then that energy is what attracts the energy around you. And so when you have the perception that you got to be on your own, don't trust anybody, you know, that old kind of vibration that
Yeah.
even saying those words is so dense for me that it makes me, I'm like, oh, it makes me
Ugh.
nauseous,
Yeah.
right? But if you live that, then that's what will show up every time. And it's like, how many times do you want to do this? Like, how many times do you want to be in this cyclical motion before you want to stop and say, okay, I'm getting off this whirlwind and I'm going to start
Right.
really living within my true authenticity. And then all of a sudden it starts showing up and showing up and showing up, right?
But
It's
in that, what happens too, at least what I found personally, is that it grows. It's like a snowball. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And when you get out of your own way, where you decide that it's okay to receive, then that just opens so many doors and the walls come down. You don't even try to put them up anymore. And when you start feeling how wonderful it is to get all of that, just more and more and more comes to you, and then you can share more and more and more. So it is a great circle of energy. To me, it's like a big circle of light, and it just grows around everything I come in contact with.
Yes. So I would imagine all of us are so connected then. You have plants all over your house and the life. Do you find that you are especially over the last couple of years and going forward, being called or connected to different places on the earth, like different
Oh,
lands,
yes.
different
Yes.
systems,
Yes.
and how you can literally feel the transformation in your energetic field in connection to these places?
Each
That's
one adds something. They're so valuable, whether it's for me, various different places all over the planet. But when you're there, it's just like you've been downloaded with all kinds of energy, knowledge, and space. It's wonderful.
Yes, I agree.
We've been collaborating a lot with the earth herself. And so I was even guided in 2022 to create this training so that other healers and intuitives can go out to the land and collaborate with the earth and to really work with her to create this frequency of peace and harmony. And we have literally seen it shift, as I'm sure all of you have observed, like shifting weather patterns. We had a gal who had like all this smoke was taking over her city from wildfires. That cleared out. We've shifted earthquake patterns. We've shifted so many things from using this love technology from the angelic realm. It's so incredible what we can do. And also like being called, as you said, Lisa, to travel to certain places to do these rituals and do these blessings.
Yeah.
Incredible. And I love that this is happening for all of us, right? The realms put out the call and then we all, those of us who answer go. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember because I was called to this place where I'm at right now, which is in the middle of Canada. It's the prairies, it's frozen 10 months of the year, it's sun. And all of those things aren't in alignment with like my physical system. And so I'm like, why? Why did you call me here? Because I can't light up. Like I just felt like this.
Yeah.
And my guides came in and Mother Earth herself and was like, that's how sad we are. We need your help. So before you leave, because I'm absolutely leaving to be able to like reconnect to my land, it was about actually bringing some energy back into her because she was so sad.
That's right.
So I'm like,
thank you.
I'm doing a south-southwest stint, even though I've been an East Coaster in the United States forever. Water, usually, I'm in the middle of Texas. I love it, though. It's very rugged and beautiful. I'm going to put up 3 Native American chiefs one at a time, one for each of you. Dull Knife, Red Shirt, Geronimo, Unconditional Love, Spirit Guides. They help anybody out there from point A to B, but they're also at the treetop level. So they're super easy for people to feel. When you see them, you can ask for a sacred scent coming in, one of 40 different scents: juniper, tobacco, sweetgrass, Douglas fir. You get the idea. But for Brit, if you'll ask for what you'll ask for, extra resilience and fun and sparkliness throughout the month of July. Here's Dolnite. You've met him before. Wisdom with some humor. Yeah, and just get what you need, but can you get a reminder from him for us all? What'd you get?
Don't take yourself too seriously.
Yes. Awesome. The whole ancient burden of self-importance. I've heard of that. Okay, now for Lisa, gentlest mom in the world, compassion, compassion, compassion. It's red shirt, Lakota Sioux chief, super gentle, and he's wearing a U.S. presidential medal. But red
Very
shirt, so
very gentle.
soft-spoken. Yeah. What are you getting from red shirt? And I think he's going to probably talk about what you were talking about.
Yeah, no, it's very clear. He was talking about being able to listen and hear and the wisdom in the silence. So we were speaking of this earlier of actually being able to really listen. But he's saying beyond that, because we're talking about the earth, and he was saying like how we can actually listen to what our environment needs, our earth. She's speaking to us. Be quiet. He's saying, quiet down and actually listen. And the guidance is so strong right now in our ability to hear in our direction. Okay, so yeah.
And then Geronimo, older Geronimo for Christian. Action, 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 dry wet humor, not formal and proper yes, no. More like, yeah, you know the answer already sort of talk.
Yeah, I know him from before. He's talking about wisdom and the importance of honoring our own inner wisdom and the wisdom of the earth and the wisdom of our elders. Yeah, I'm getting actually, this is surprising me, but he's talking about connecting with our elders and connecting with the elders in our life and asking them more questions about their lives and asking them for wisdom, like what do they wish they would have known when they were our age, that kind of thing, which is a really beautiful message.
I'll put up 4 archangels. It's Michael, Raphael, Uriel, and Gabriel, if I said 4 different names. 4 rainbow pie slices. Why take it so seriously? Look, they're unconditional love. They're cosmic. They're like light beings. They're everywhere at once. There's not a specific origin story. Here's 4 archangels one way. And Britt, if you can just get a quick thing to relay, not that we're rushing, or I shouldn't have used the word quick, a pithy.
To follow the light that they're giving, really, really important that we connect to that. And then we open up to, when you look at that picture, you see the energy of the rainbow. You see all the colors, how they all merge together, but how they all have their own frequency. And the connection to those frequencies, whether it's through sound or energy, is invaluable right now.
Brilliant. Lisa.
Yeah, you know, it's you were speaking about connecting into frequency. They're saying that there's a frequency involved in all of our senses that have been kind of lost. So as the sound frequency comes in a healing modality, so does this, obviously how we perceive color and that how we take it in. But to connect into taste, smell, the vision, these senses are far beyond what we're using them for, and the capacity in which we can connect on a vibrational level to these is what's coming in really strongly. And so that can actually help in aiding in our healing mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually.
Oh, that's great.
And Christian, I'm coming to you, but I'm going to do this next, which is going to be a normal lighter. And then after that, we'll ask angels and anybody else that's unconditional love and above to put extra light that we know can't be part of a lighter. It's going to burn out some of the gas here, but so be it. I'm going to put up a special photo for you, Christian. I got told, go outside of my house, shoot above the house, and here's all the archangels. So it's even a hotter, this is just what you needed. Higher vibe, put the seatbelt on. Here's all the archangels. You can feel that energy. And Lisa, I'm sorry. Christian, what are you getting from all the archangels?
They're showing me each of us as individuals, all those listening and all of us here on the panel walking. And when we're walking, they're showing me that all of those archangels are with us, especially when we invoke them. And to remember that when we walk into a space, it's not just us, we're walking with the whole team that is here with us, supporting us. We simply just need to ask for their support and intervention. Whew.
Nice. Yeah.
I like that. I am going to do a crystal first before a lighter. The crystal, look, everything has consciousness in it. People from India, a lot of people from India will tell you that. It was in the Joseph Campbell, Bill Moyers thing, Power of Myth, the audio at least, if not the book. But here's a Tibetan quartz crystal with what's it called, tourmaline in it. But someone really made a great comment before the show when we did this. There happens to be a happy face in there. Oh, there it is. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, you can see
Definitely
it. Yeah.
has a happy face. Yeah.
Lisa, what are you getting from the crystal and just in general?
Okay. Crystal energy is so potent right now as it's connecting into our like crystalline energy frequency that is being woken up right now by our sun and our earth. So the power of grounding and connecting from the earth up into the cosmos, crystals will allow us to help connect into that. So really there's no wrong way to use your crystal, and there's no wrong or right crystal to use. It's holding it and allowing yourself to connect into that frequency that feels in alignment with you and your greatest good. And that really is, it's really very, very helpful. Crystal energy is going to be used a lot more.
And I'll just say crystal light because I like to keep it humorous a little bit. Okay. Does anybody want to add a comment before I do the lighter? And absolutely, Britt, if you want to talk, Christian, if you want to add something, please.
I have a big thing with rocks, period, but crystals specifically. I've got clumps of them all over the house. To me, they are kind of this wonderful little magnifier for communication. And they're just so beautiful to have and feel the energy from. But let yourself be guided to the right one. It will find you. You don't need to go find a specific one. It finds you. And then it opens tremendous things.
Christian.
I agree to everything shared here, of course. And remember that these crystals come from the earth. So what I was shown is that like the earth comes with everything we need, really. And like, so these crystals are here. They activate different parts of our body technology. They help support us in our connection to the divine. I have my feet on a rock, to your point, Britt, about rocks. So I always keep my grounding rock underneath my desk. Really helpful for Zooms like this. And also,
good idea,
right? It's so helpful. So remembering that these gemstones are literally like gifts from the earth. Like I remember people saying like, oh, you shouldn't, that's hurting the earth to get the gemstones out. Now we want to have as sustainable practices as possible to release them, right. But remembering that they are gifts from the earth to us to assist us and the animals in having the kind of experience we need to have on earth. So that's why it's so important to make sure, like the ladies are saying here, that you're guided to a crystal, because if you're just, oh, this is what I should get, you're not going to have that relationship. These are literally like helpers on our path of earth. Right.
So we're actually going to go to a more serious topic now. There's a lot of talk about disclosure and do alien life forms exist, whether they're interdimensional in and around us, which, by the way, angels come in all shapes, sizes, colors. They live within us, around us. They are learning from us, even though from our perspective, they're absolutely perfect. And they've seen the last page of your last chapter of your book for this life story and all your other books. So that's pretty wild. But how would you address, there's a lot of seeking going on, a lot of talking. It has to happen. It's called thinking, science, FOIA requests, everything else. There's a huge quail hunt happening. But who wants to talk about all the hubbub going on about whether we're alone in the galaxy and stuff like that?
Oh, dear.
I think maybe you're a specialist.
My personal thought is we are running way behind reality. We need to play catch up. It's happening. People are aware of it. So many today feel like we're not in a position to accept it. But when you talk to people, they are. They're more than curious. They already know it's there. We don't need the government to tell us it's there.
Yeah.
We need to know it here, and we need to work with it on an individual level and on group levels. And this is how we begin to open up and really learn about it. The hubbub isn't necessary. It's smoke and mirrors. It's really not helping at all. What it does is it creates a conflict, and conflict is not necessary. And in this, what happens is, if you deal with it on a personal level, speak to others, learn, you find your own levels. And that's how it should be.
And so do you think it's a fair statement to say that it's more likely that the populace just goes ahead and takes their own steps forward? Why wait for science? Why wait for an organization? Why wait for government?
Absolutely.
Anything man-made structure is usually way behind by decades.
Right.
Yeah, but can we have each of you, Christian, Lisa, can we have you arm wrangle over who's going to answer first between the two of you? Okay, Christian smiled the most. You're up.
Well, I think Lisa and I are having telepathic communication right now about who's
100%.
Yeah. So, the government has actually been working with the ETs for a very long time. So this whole thing of like, oh, are they going to disclose it? And, all of this stuff is nonsense.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, remembering that like our energy and our focus, like we've talked about, is so important. And that can be also harvested and manipulated and used. So it's really important that we trust, like Britt is saying, our own knowing, our own connections, because I agree with Britt 100%. Most humans know that other beings exist and they're not freaked out about it. They understand it. Almost every human you'll ever meet has had some kind of like weird, interaction with some kind of energy that sort of just is there in their experience. And maybe they've delved into it, maybe they haven't. So we don't need any corporatized power structure to tell us how non-physical energy works and how we can work with it more. And I believe that is part of the shift in consciousness we're in. Like, I'm hearing power to the people, that we're really empowered to have these experiences and to support the collaboration with high vibrational beings here on Earth.
Yeah.
So we don't need a 5-point contact program, level 101, 102.
No.
And I'm a 703 for my ability to let go and contact. I'm kidding. Lisa, can you cover the same topic in which way you want?
It's interesting because it's so beautiful to have this conversation. It's so like refreshing, in all honesty, to have this conversation, because I feel like we've all been on our journey to be able to have our personal experiences and interactions, and our knowing that it's like, we know we don't have to fight anything to be heard or seen or believed, right? If anything, we're like, no thanks, no thanks, I'm good. And then you start connecting with others that just know it as well. It's like trying to convince somebody that that's a shade of blue. It's like, this is really out, like, I'm good, thanks. You can see this shade however you want to see it. I know how I see it. I know my experience. And so I think that the more that people are hear that kind of collective voice of exposure and like government and all that, the more that there's a general population of us that are like, you just do you. Like, you can just rock on with whatever's happening over here. But like, I'm in my system that's working really well for me, in that give and take production and in my reality, and being with my animals and my plants and in my happy world, because this is what I've created myself, and it's an absolute reality. You say, what's your reality? It's like, well, what do you see? You don't have to convince me of your reality. This is what reality is. And the more we're trying to convince people and chain it's like, it's actually more powerful to be in your resonance of that frequency of receptivity and communication. I mean, we've all probably had our beautiful interactions with different light beings or different forms, right? And it's like, if you try to convince a whole bunch of people of that, it actually brings you out of alignment, because you're trying to go into a different frequency to try to convince. But it's like, then you can't maintain your resonance and your frequency in that communication. So it's like, that's okay. You rock out, like, that's how I feel, at least. And it just makes my existence so much easier. and therefore the people in which I'm to work with and like what I'm here to do becomes way easier because I'm not trying to convince anybody of anything. I'm just open-heartedly committed to my own energy frequency. And then when we talk about the discernment of what energy frequencies will allow in and out, that becomes way easier too, because you're still hanging out in that frequency, and only the things that are allowed to come in and out is only within that resonance. You know what I mean? So like everything just becomes easier, doesn't it?
It does.
My dogs are barking in agreement from a closet where they've been ensconced this whole time.
Usually animals
Oh.
fill all my readings. I have a cat right up here telling me their story, dogs, horses, cows.
They're like, right on.
I got birds. Animals are constantly talking.
Can I do a game show lightning round where we're going to have our guests, which are you all, but also we've got a lot of other guests here. I'm just going to put up a photo, put up a hand if you want to do a quick, here's what she just said on the topic of mankind, more consciousness, more awareness, more kindness, a little less rat race, 7%, by the way, 7% less thinking a day is what Charlotte the Angel said is the Olympic gold medal for all of us. It's, of course, right in front of me on the actual laptop. She said 7% less thinking a day is the max. That's it. I think it comes out to an hour and 42 minutes. I don't have a calculator. But my point is permission to go ahead and stick some photos up. Put a hand up if you want to relay a message, if they wanted to join in. Here's Joy. Anybody have a hand up and say, here's what Joy's saying for us all? Technically, Lisa, that was a hand up as you moved your hair.
Joy said to me, because Joy is such in close connection. So Joy was talking about the frequency of joy. Okay, so if you're going to align with the frequency, that's actually in alignment more of your authenticity than anything else. Really? So that's more of an authentic resonance of joy. Okay, so if you're experiencing the joy energy, know that the more that you can hang out in that alignment is where you can stand out of the spout, you know, where good things come out, because that's where your energy is more in alignment with your authenticity.
Okay, and
does that
oh my God, you knocked that one out of the park and the leather came off the baseball. Okay, Joy and Charlotte are up on the screen. Put a hand up if you're gonna, or just go for it, and you can do Joy and or Charlotte or both. Christian, it's up to you, or Britt, one of you.
Okay, what I'm getting really strongly from the two of them is the educational process from within is so urgently important right now that it just brings everything up to a whole new level if we recognize that. And Charlotte is the teacher, definitely posting that very strongly. But Joy sort of is this playful student, recognizing how valuable it is to each of us and just finding that in ourselves. It just lifts everything up.
Okay, two new angels, but one everybody knows, Archangel Michael and a Rebecca who is, I think it says support on there, but these two of them, all three are my business managers. So they're up to you. Christian, I think the pressure's on you now. It's like a sports talk show and they're clicking the buttons to get a chance to talk about Major League Baseball. You haven't clicked in a while. We're going to have to kick you off the show soon. So let's put the pressure on you here.
Am I on Survivor right now?
Click. There are some sports shows like that on ESPN. So, okay.
Well, this is feeling very much like the dream that I had last night that I was sharing before we started recording, where we have this divine guidance, Archangel Michael protecting and creating this sacred container for us to be in. And then Charlotte, the professor, asking us questions and kind of nudging us into our recognition and awareness, and Rebecca supporting this unfolding. So I'm really actually seeing them as holding this container and supporting, because all those who are watching and listening to this are also having their own insights, epiphanies, ahas, rememberings, if you will. So I really feel them supporting us and holding us.
Okay, last lightning round here. There's Min, the professor, soft-spoken, light waves of energy and water. Claire, who's resilience, another angel. And Mac, don't call her Mackenzie. Mac just recently said she's got a Pleiadian and a little bit of Orion background. Not to throw too many wrenches into this, but they are who they are. Unconditional love. Who's getting what from whom?
Oh,
What do you
so
get?
many energies coming through. I mean, just beyond those three.
Yeah.
Really, really strong. And Claire is really
Yes.
coming strong right now. That I keep feeling the word urgent. For us to be more resilient, to recognize our own resilience, which exists. So we don't have to need to try to do something there. But it's, wow, just really powerful energy.
You know what? Before you were talking, the word urgency came up in, like, my guidance team was drawing that connection to you. So I feel like your knowledge about the current urgency that's coming through with that is something to be heard. Can you expand? Is there any expansion on that? Because that's exactly what they said before you spoke. And so when you said urgency, I'm like, well, here we go.
Okay, well, the urgency I'm feeling, I mean, we're all talking about how valuable it is right now to care for Mother Earth, and in that, caring for ourselves. We're looking at it a little bit cockeyed because Mother Earth cares for herself. We need to respect that. So it's a difference between caring and respecting. The urgency of all that I'm feeling from Claire is, I think the bottom line is respect. And it is respect for self, for each other, for Earth, for the cosmos, for everything that exists, whether we see it or not.
Mhm.
It's just something that we've set aside somehow, almost bringing me to tears.
Oh, can I ever feel it in my heart too?
Yeah, this is where we need the resilience right now. We need that respect. We need that feeds the love and
Mhm.
understanding of each other. It's wow.
And that's
I mean,
the little purple one.
goosebumps and tears. Sorry.
Yeah, Claire's right there in the
Really
center.
feel that. Yeah. You know, but when you were talking about respect, it was such a beautiful, like, aha moment almost, because when we were talking about, like, our personal knowing and knowing, like, what is in our guidance system and that intuition for self and leading with that, it's kind of like exactly where you were saying the earth knows what to do. It's just respecting that. And if we have the ability as humans, and this can be tricky, this can be really tricky when we're listening, right? We talk about listening more, hearing somebody's situation, their perspective, and that whatever they got going on, instead of being like, okay, well, here's how I can help you. Or here, what if we just say, oh, I respect that? What if we just respect where they're at and how they're seeing their world and how they're perceiving and everything, instead of that need to change or help or divide or convince or any of it? Even if you can be like, the way in which they're seeing, I understand, is coming from a completely different frequency. They're literally seeing the same thing in a completely different way. But instead of saying, well, if you change the way you look at that, just, I respect that.
Respect it. Yeah.
Respect that. I
It's
respect
theirs. It's their position for their moment in growth. It hasn't got anything to do with me, other than I get to hear it. And from hearing that, I should be learning something. There's the value in that. Otherwise, just appreciate it, respect. I absolutely agree.
I love that. That just lit up.
Wayne Dyer said, you know, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Another quote comes from Jesus around 2014, but you could hear it now if you want. Compassion is here for all. A person need only be open to receive. A new consciousness emerges. Details are not so important. Love is love. What's everyone's reaction to that one?
Love is love.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. That's a
what
great
else is there? Yeah.
It's a good Coles notes for this conversation.
Okay, I'm going to read a passage as well from angels about what's up with mankind right now. Why are angels so available? Here it comes. I'll try to make it like 45 seconds max. I'll read a little quickly. Awareness for mankind is on the horizon. Call it a spiritual awakening if you wish. It's a chance for all to grow. Mankind is ready for more unconditional love and compassion for all. And more compassion by all for all is needed. Mankind is ready for change from rat race mode. Happiness is obtained in the absence of ego. Ego is afraid to be vulnerable, to let go, and to be in the unknown. Again, there's nothing to lose and nothing to gain. Move past seeing the negative. Compassion can be taught through one's actions. How? Slowing down would do a world of wonder for most people. Doing it consistently is where the problems and opportunities lie, so stay present. Start right now. Letting go means less thinking. Do not get lost in perceived tasks, roles, ego, etc. Being in the moment is to do compassion for all. For individuals, an egoless path would be great, but it's just not realistic. Allow ego to serve as a reminder when it pops up. A reminder for what? You decide. How about a reminder to breathe? How about a reminder to enjoy each moment as it comes? Believe that all moments can be the same. Whether it's a moment at work or a moment looking at nature, all moments are the same and peaceful. Only thinking something can interfere with this. Likewise, they're not separate paths for mankind or separate worlds for individuals. One is one. Through awareness and owning the consequences of one's thoughts and actions, a person begins to see how all of life is truly interconnected in one. Faith in all can lead to a change in mankind. This is the path for all of man. This is about man bringing peace and joy to all. It's about your personal growth in your life and finding the next stage in your soul's development, as well as the continued evolution of mankind. Wrapping up, the greatest gift is allowing. All is growth and change. This is frightening for some. There's nothing to do here. Slow down the doing. Instead, breathe, smile, and relax. Appreciate all. Last bit. Compassion for all is life. This is also about acceptance for all. Regard others as yourself, generously and without fixation. Believe in all. It's much simpler than people think. Again, this is because it's not about thinking, but less thinking. Open yourself up to life. Speak with us. That's angels. Speak with angels. Be. Is that okay? And what do you say to that, Christian?
Oh, there's so much there. I mean, how much time do we have? I feel like that kind of summarized actually a lot of what we talked about here.
Yeah.
And Britt talking about the respect, and for me, I keep hearing the sacredness of the self, the sacredness of the earth, the sacredness of each other, and slowing down and taking time to really acknowledge and honor and be present with that sacredness. And when you mentioned the rat race, and I think that was the second time you mentioned it, that's a term I hadn't heard in quite some time. And I know that is a program in the Matrix, and it is a whole paradigm. And really, what is the opposite of that, or the antithesis of that? I don't know if I'm using that word correctly, but that is to slow down and to drop into the heart, all the pieces we've been talking about here. So I feel like this panel, really, we could take the gems from this panel that's encased in that quote, and really, if we just each applied that in our lives more and more, how do we have more respect, more honoring of the sacred? How do we slow down and listen more? I mean, that sounds like we'd have a whole new world if we were all doing that.
Lisa? And beautiful, Christian. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I agree. And just to continue with that is that the more that people find that individually, the more that they find it within each other. And so that we find each other, right? And it's like the whole awakening or rebirth, and it's always been there. Like we weren't broken, needed to be fixed. We're just we're just able to start, like we're getting to a place. And how could we have gotten to a place to stop and start listening to who we actually are and what we actually need until we hit a place where we're like, hold on a sec, this doesn't feel right. Like trust that everything has gone down the way it needed to for us to be here, exactly here right now.
That's right.
Lisa, that's so huge, because when you realize that everything has a purpose, no matter what it is, and the purpose is always for the benefit, never for the detriment, life is easy.
Oh, then there's freedom.
Yeah, you stop trying to manipulate thought and manipulate what's happening. You just realize it's there for a reason. You may not know what it is right away, but it'll surface at some point and you'll go, aha, I got
Most
it.
times you don't know what it is right away. Most
Exactly.
times it is a retrospective, awakening understanding.
Yes.
But the freedom lies in that moment in time when you can truly say, oh, I didn't see this one coming. All right, I'm curious. I'm curious to see how this is going to play
That's
out,
right.
why this is happening.
Well,
Because
sometimes a
that's
kick in the
freedom
teeth
in
is
that.
good.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
really is.
Yeah,
That's
totally.
usually what humans need. You know, if
Yeah.
I even look at my own story, it was a health crisis that got me on my spiritual path, right? It's usually that we need that kind of apex moment. And so to your point, Britt, as we're talking here, it's like everything that's happening can be used for the highest good. It's just our creativity to go, okay, like you were saying, Lisa, just sit back and go, okay, I'm curious about this. How can this take me higher and deeper into who I really am? And if we're looking at the collective, how can what's happening in the collective take us higher and deeper into who we really are? And if we're letting that be the guiding question instead of why is this thing happening, which I tell, you can almost never see the why when you're ensconced in the drama of it. So just how can this take me higher and deeper into who I really am? And let that guide you forward.
And
Powerful.
sometimes it takes a little bit of work. And I realize the inner work is not the easiest thing to do because it can be painful. It can bring up a lot of things that need to be faced. But do that little bit of work, just a little bit at a time. And it opens up so many valuable things. And that's where you get to the point where you go, okay, something happened. What's it going to tell me?
Right. And I'll tell you, when you start to hear yourself speak those words of, okay, let's see what this is about. I just, like I'm gonna step back and observe what's going on here.
Yeah.
It's almost like and yes, there is work. Absolutely. But I promise you, by those words, actually perceiving and listening to yourself, take a step back and saying, okay, what's going on here? And releasing that pinpoint, I need to know so that what's my next move? What's my next move? If you're thinking, what's my next move? I need to use, then that's your indicator right there. If you're hearing this right now, that is an indicator to just step back, because the resistancy of allowing it to move through is actually causing more pain.
That's right.
Yeah.
Than allowing it to move through. Because yes, work happens, but it is a heck of a lot less painful when the resistancy bands open up a little bit and you can start to be the observer and say, okay, all right, the panel said it. I'm going to step back and I'm going to allow this to kind of run through me. And I'm curious and be the observer. And I promise you, it's a little less painful.
And when you pinpoint it, oh, here we go. We're all going to talk at the same time.
Yeah.
When you pinpoint it, you're missing all of the things going on that are feeding the information you need.
That's right.
You're focused on that one little thing and everything else is whizzing right by.
Yeah. Don't micromanage your own existence.
Exactly.
And I was just going to say, often the releasing of the resistance is the work, is the work that the human has to do.
It's like, that's the deprogramming, for sure.
Yeah.
And I was going to add that, if it was 5 to 25 or longer years back, that perspective, because now you're like, oh yeah, man, I got divorced in 1982 and it's crystal clear now. So the point of this is it's that simple. You just have to get out of your own way.
Definitely.
And it still might take 5 hard years on whatever rocky obstacle we're talking about. So not to make light of it.
And Spirit's saying community, right? Even this, like technology is allowing this community to exist right now. The more that you can surround yourself in a community that is that like-minded energy, it's, it's really a gift. Yeah.
It is. It's a treasure. It's perfect.
With everyone's permission, can you each pick one figure from whoever we have met today? It could be Joy, Charlotte, Min, Del Knife, Richard, Geronimo, Claire, Mac, Rebecca, Archangel Michael. Lisa, what's your choice?
You know what? The archangels came through loud and clear with me today. Archangel Uriel has been working a lot with me lately. And so I've got the Archangel Uriel and Michael that has been a strong force here today.
Okay, so you've chosen Michael and Uriel because I'm going to lean over like this and give you a chance to see 4 figures now, unless Christian picks 2. Christian, who do you want to pick to be part of showing up? The audience will have to trust us that we're doing the seeing. Do you have 1 name, 2 names?
Well, Joy is always dancing, and I like see her in this beautiful skirt that is like, I don't know, it's like from the 50s. I don't know. It's amazing.
And I'm going to go ahead and just flash one more photo up who got no airtime. Audrey Hepburn. Let her wink, smile, shoulder waggle, nose moves in the photograph. We know photographs can't move, but we're talking about no limits today. She's an angel. Let her bring an uninvented perfume from Paris to you immediately. And if anyone wants to pick her, she'll do some showing up as well. Christian, do you want to defect and have Joy and Audrey?
No, just Joy's good. I feel like has Audrey reincarnated?
Audrey's an angel.
Okay, I'm feeling some Audrey energy still on Earth too. Okay.
Well, here's what I heard from a guest, which was the soul is like the arm, and there can be multiple overlaps, like fragments of soul in each of different folks. Because I had 3 past, I'm not like totally into past lives or anything like that, but they're being given to me. And I'm like, wait a second. My brain was like, I got 3 overlapping timelines. How's that possible? So I posted.
Time doesn't exist.
Yeah, I'm like, you got
There's no such thing as time.
Okay.
That's why it happens.
We could go down a whole nother conversation.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
exactly.
I didn't know. I was like this. Britt, who's your choice or choices?
Claire.
Claire. Okay. So we got Claire, we got Joy, we got Michael, we got Uriel, and we got Michael here. Mike, leaning out of the way. Everyone, just have a good time. Give yourself permission to let go. If you're at home, you can put your hands up and at least feel the vibe, or see what you can see by the Peloton bike. And when you've gotten that done and you're connecting, get a final closing sentiment of ideas from them. Get hugs, get lots of love. Feel a vibe that leaves you a little rippling into the future. Why settle for just a day or 2 when you can have a ripple all the way through July or the rest of the summer? And lastly, if I can get a thumbs up or a hand up as you're seeing, so the audience knows you're saying you're seeing, that would be phenomenal. Literally, figuratively, metaphorically. Britt says yes.
Yeah.
Lisa, you're getting, oh, you guys are awesome. Awesome possum, as they say somewhere in the US. I'm sorry to
But
make
there's
y'all
more
light.
energies than what we were talking about back there.
I'm getting ear pressure too. So if anybody wants to see a Pleiadian and an Arcturian, they're unconditional love. This is pushing it for humanity right now, but have them pop up in the back waving hi. They don't mind doing a little humor. And if I can see a thumbs up, a hand up if you're seeing extra love in the background behind our group.
There's just so much energy there.
Okay, good enough. Coming back to reality here.
Really strong.
Planet Earth. We'll do a closeout. Does anybody have a final reminder? I'll put up 3 helpers here. They're like the producers behind the yelling at the camera. Don't look at the camera. Don't look at the camera. Camera 3 is lit. Look at the camera. What are you getting from Joy, Charlotte, Min, or from your own guides, or from your higher self? And if anybody has their eyes shut, here, let's do this. Eyes shut, and you can see your soul. It'll look like Aurora Borealis on your eyelids. Do I say it that right? Your drive-in, your third eye. Drive-in movie. And they'll show you, if you aren't already doing it, you're getting it, whether you view it as help or you organically just did it on your own, you're rock stars.
They're giving me a message to reiterate for everybody. Okay, so this is really strong coming through about the senses. I had spoken about it earlier about using your senses, your actual human senses. You're really wanting to bring that home for everyone, that if you, okay, this is really clear. So they're saying, taking the conversation in which we started with about going and dropping into yourself, in your true self, and trusting what your true self, and sometimes I think people have a difficult time saying, like, what does that feel like? What does it feel like to go from your head into yourself? And like, you know, like how? And they're saying use your senses in order to distinguish what your intuitive knowing is. Because you don't go out and ask somebody what that strawberry tastes like. You feel into it and you have that knowing. So we use our intuition, we get into ourselves and our knowing every day without being consciously aware of it. And so they're saying to practice what that feels like in order to resonate outside of yourself with the things that are actually in connection to you. And your authentic self is like the knowing of what you know it is to smell something, to taste something, to feel something, and to hear something. That is all within your basis of knowing. So as true as it is for you to feel the senses as that is felt into yourself is the same as feeling into your knowing of whether something or someone is in resonance with your highest and greatest good. Okay? That's a message. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Christian.
So that was so beautiful, Lisa. I had to write down some things. It was so beautiful. Immediately Joy started playing Dancing Queen for me, and like nonstop, like so loud, like stereo in my head. So the message was, as Lisa was talking about the authentic self, Joy was giving another intuitive way, or another way that you can access your authentic self, is to play your favorite song right now and dance in the kitchen or the living room as hard as possible. And that is going to help you experience your authentic self. So I love that. And I'm going to do that once we're done here.
Me too. Oh.
Can I just say, this is what I was getting as well, was the kitchen. So if you're pouring a glass of water, pouring tea, you want to make it a sacred act and go make some tea and get a little more determined about it, fine. But put on the song that gets you happy. I don't care if it's Elvis, Italian, classical, Pavarotti, and you like to sing and no one ever hears you. But whatever it is, let a little movement happen. See what happens. Embrace. It would be the equivalent of going to the mirror and saying, I love you 1,000 times. There's going to be a good 5 minutes in there where you're bawling. You break yourself down. And then there's a part of you that's like, oh my God, I love myself. And you're like a Shakespearean actor. The point is, in your kitchen, you're pouring, you're listening, you're grooving. Allow, if you want sparkles, light, consciousness from within and around the universe to embrace you. You can see, I know everyone talks about a feather at your doorstep or somewhere that's physical. You can see, made out of light, a feather come down and balance on the edge of your glass, or sparkles, glitter, gold, whatever you want to call it, flecks of light around you. What will you allow for? Forget the woo-woo-woo, forget Arcturians, forget Archangel Michael. Strictly moment to moment, what are you allowing for? Have more fun, breathe more, smile more, laugh more. Brit, to you.
How beautiful. Breathe more, laugh more, smile more. Those are perfect. What I was getting very, very strongly from Claire, but also from the other energies there, because your little room is just packed full of little beings right now. Yeah, it's sort of a surrender, a let go, a let things be, so that you can center in self. And the center in self came through so strongly, because that, to me, if you're there, if you're letting that space happen, not working towards it, letting it happen, letting it be, getting yourself grounded into mother, heart into cosmos with father, you've got this incredible harmony. And that's a frequency in itself.
Oh, lovely. Everyone, if anybody has a last anything, a reminder, something's popped up, put your hand up, start speaking. You got it. We're going to wrap this up and hopefully have you all come back actually in a couple months or something. We'll see.
Oh, that would be great. I would love this. I love these ladies.
Yeah,
I
this
do
is a
have
really
something I would like to say, and that is just try to open and be receptive to all the unseen realities out there. And in the process, be discerning, know what serves your higher good, and let that be. And don't Don't struggle. Don't fight. Conflict isn't necessary. Just let it all flow. Flow with the go. It's the best way to live.
Christian, what's your final reminder for us all?
Well, Britt, that was just so beautifully said. We've talked about so many amazing things here today. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Britt. Thank you, angels of the highest light. And all when Claire came through, I just kept getting blasted in my third eye. She was serious. And Britt, I felt a real strong connection between you and Claire, which is really beautiful to see. I really just resonated so deeply with this time together. I'm so grateful that we got to gather in this way. There's a lot of negative talk about technology, and I understand that. And I also am so grateful for technology because it's allowed us to do this and have this opportunity. I believe we can take anything and use it for the highest good, and take any experience and use it for our highest good. So that would be my final message, to just take wherever you're at in your life and say, how can this take me higher and deeper into who I really am? And of course, dance.
Dance. Yeah, I love that.
Thank you, Christian. And Lisa, do you have a final?
But mine was just that my guides were like, make sure that they understand the concept of relating the senses into that sense of knowing of self. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
And I have two.
Thank you, ladies. It was really nice to do this
It
today.
was wonderful. Thank you.
So fun.
Before I do the final sign off, I had two last quick items. One is from angels, and it's everything always happens one moment at a time. Be in this very moment, allow love and love more. And then angels exist, allow for this possibility, and answers and more will come. Allow for more in each moment. And with that, I'd like to thank the three of you. I was so excited to put this together. I'm so thankful for all three of you. Thank you very much.
Oh,
Thank you, Michael.
This was wonderful. Such a joy meeting you. I appreciate this so much.
Same. Thank you. Thank you.
Everyone, be sure to subscribe, like, share, comment. Did you like what Britt said? Did you like what Christian said? Type up what, that thing that Lisa said. Just do it. Have fun. Most of all, enjoy the show. Thank you very much, everybody.
Bye.